just yesterday morning, the National Interagency Fire Center increased the U.S. national preparedness level to preparedness level 4. It was just recently that we are still, well, it's just recently we heard of the reports of the wildfires, the crippling wildfires in Hawaii, in Maui, Hawaii, and we're still hearing of deaths, and we are still dealing with the losses stemming from the wildfires in Hawaii, a place that is surrounded by water. But that goes to show how significant this global warming is, and how fires can start even with a lot of water around you. But this is significant news, and we want to talk about that. What And we also want to get into this issue of how much damage do wildfires cause, because since 2020 we've had an increase in the number of losses due to wildfires. So we want to get into that a little bit coming up next on the podcast. There had been much talk in the news lately about the about wildfires. Is it? And according to the National Interagency Fire Department, they have a national fire news, and they have increased the national preparedness level to level 4 as of August 17th, 2023, at 7:30 a.m. And it's on a scale of 1 to 5. The national preparedness level is on a scale of 1 to 5, and they have increased it to level 4 as at August 17, 2023. And the report is updated Monday through Friday on a daily basis. Now, earlier this morning, or yesterday morning, the National Multi-Agency Coordinating Group increased their national preparedness level to preparedness level 4. This is due to significant wildland fire activity in multiple geographic areas, with the potential for additional large wildland fires. More than 20 incident management teams are managing wildfires in several geographic areas, and the National Interagency Coordination Center is working closely with geographic area coordination centers, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. I wanted to touch on, we welcome to the Neoliberal Realm podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie. With me is Dante Nelson. And Dante, we're talking about what's happening in the news. The latest happening in the news, of course, is fires, U.S. wildfires. And according to Statista.com, they are indicating that natural catastrophes are often connected to unusually high temperatures like wildfires and droughts, where there's a possibility of losses up to $18 billion in the United States alone in 2022, and 2022 alone. Yeah, I think according to the recent report, U.S. wildfires is a $20 billion problem. Estimated loss caused by wildfires, heat, and drought in the United States in billions of dollars is estimated to be, said, up 18 in 2022 was $18 billion, but in 2018 it was 25 billion. In 2018 it was 25 billion. So, well, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it seems to be we have been improving, but why are we having wildfires? Yeah, we just had one in Hawaii, and I was actually reading the National Fire Center report, I was just reading that to you just now. And according to the National Interagency Fires, they have increased the level to level 4. Um, I think the report that I'm receiving here is saying that 11 new large fires were reported yesterday. 6 in California and Arizona, Florida, Hawaii, Montana, and Washington each had one. So there were 6 in California alone yesterday. 6 in California alone, and Arizona, Florida, Hawaii, Montana, and Washington each had one. Now, according to the story, according to the National Interagency Fire Center, well, 11 new large fires and complexes have burned 515,705 acres in 14 states. What is causing the fires, the wildfires? Hot, dry, and unstable conditions. Hot, dry, and unstable conditions. Hot, dry, and unstable conditions. And some parts of the country is experiencing really dry, horrid weather. They have not had any rains. Texas all the way up to Phoenix, while other parts are experiencing floods. In Buffalo recently there was a flood in New York. And here in Philadelphia we've been having hot weather, but as soon as it's hot we have a storm. So but the hot, dry, and then the weather has been unstable, so the instability can create also the fire. Some of these conditions that leads to fire. So the wind, the humidity or the dry weather, and then you have the wind the next minute creating the conditions for fire. So it's hot, it's dry, it's unstable. And according to the National Center for the National Interagency Fire Center, they according to them is that they will continue. Hot, dry, and unstable conditions will continue across the Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies, and much of the Great Basin, with little change from prior days.
So that means that there will be multiple numbers of fires remaining.
I mean, there were more. Based on weather conditions
of the radiation and the heat.
Well, I mean, based on the conditions, hot, dry, the expectation is that the expectation is that we will have hot, dry, and unstable conditions over the next couple of days, over the next couple of weeks. And if that happens, then you expect to have the possibility of more wildfires. And I think I think the emergency teams, they are utilizing all the resources. I think what they're doing now, they are now responding to fires to emergency situations. But because of the how exhausting and how rapidly the fires are starting and going. In fact, we've already seen some casualties. So that's what's happening in terms of the fires across the U.S. and in certain parts of the U.S. But I was reading a report earlier written by Florian Zandt. Florian Zandt is a data journalist at Statista, and he provided this story on August 16, saying that natural catastrophes often connected to unusually high temperatures. You asked the question just now, what's causing the fires? Unusually high temperatures like wildfires and droughts were responsible for losses of $18 billion in the US in 2022, only half of which were insured, according to management. Consulting and reinsurance providers Aon and Munich. Aon classifies a natural catastrophe as an event causing $25 million or more in property losses, 10 deaths, 50 people injured, or 2,000 filed claims or homes and structures damaged. And of course, there is a chart that we have. I mean, you guys can't see the chart, but there's a chart showing estimated losses have been declining since hitting a record high in 2018. And Dante, you can see that here with me. So from 2013, look at the losses, 0.62 to 2013 to 28. But it's with some fluctuations. But there was a rapid increase in terms of losses to wildfires between 2016 and 2018. And then from 2018 to 2020 to 2019, there was a huge decline. We had the COVID pandemic in 2019. But then from 20 up to 2020, the COVID pandemic continued, but it increased rapidly up to 22. But it's been declining since 2020. It's been declining again.
What was going around? What was happening?
Nothing much in 2018, but President Trump was president. Okay, we had an election about, between 2020 or something like that. We had the COVID in 2020, 2021.
We had a situation where we were running out of water, or the water.
No, we don't have any water issue there, but
like contaminated or something.
But
because
but
for
the
those
chart
numbers to be that
but
high,
these figures shows the estimated losses. Have been declining since 2018. So losses due to fires have been declining since 2018. Now in 2022, Munich estimated losses of about 25 billion on US soil. Around 56 million in insured losses were connected to the Mendocino complex fire, which has been categorized as one of the largest California wildfires in modern history. The wildfires burned 459,000 acres and lasted from late July until early January of 2019. Now, these catastrophes were overshadowed by the 2020 wildfire season in the western United States, causing 47 deaths, with burning about 10.2 million acres and destroying more than 13,000 structures across more than 100 fires in 4 months. Now, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, climate change is one of the main drivers of increased wildfire activity worldwide. Climate change. Increased heat and extended drought, caused in parts by rising emissions and global warming, create favorable conditions for wildfires, which are more likely to spread further and burn longer in arid conditions. Now, in addition to destroying structures and causing death and severe injury, wildfires contribute to global tree cover loss. Now, as estimated by Global Forest Watch show, as estimates by the Global Forest Watch show, 2022 saw a total tree cover loss of 56 million acres, and 6.6 million of which were attributable to wildfires. Okay, so, but that's that's what's going on as it relates to climate change and the weather, and all the climate change and how that's affected to the weather patterns and to natural disasters, and how that's affected to our pockets and to the economy and insurance. But it seems to be declining, but it's still high compared to 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. When you look at estimated losses to wildfires, it was significantly lower to what it was, but to what it is now in last year and in 2020. Between 2018 and 2020, it was significantly low, but 2020 we saw a significant increase in the number of wildfires. So that's what's going on in terms of wildfires and the damage and the damages that they do, and how they are affecting not just people, but economically. It's affecting us economically, financially as well. Financially is part of the economics, with personal damages and to the environment and so on. So those are issues that, of course, Congress, environmentalists, and society, we have to come together to work on ensuring that we are doing justly to the economy, to mitigate and to minimize damages that we are doing on the earth, so as to prevent global warming. But what's happening? What else is happening that I want to talk about? There's a story that I want to bring up, but I won't talk about that yet. We'll be right back after this. Just so you know that the the Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA continues to work closely with state and local agencies on Maui, and that there is a type 1 incident management team that is mobilizing help in Hawaii to assist with the wildfire suppression efforts there. And of course, for more information, you can visit the following websites: the County of Maui Disaster Update. You can go to www.mauicounty.gov, or you can go to the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency emergency proclamation relating to wildfires and travel to Maui. Again, you can go to the hawaii.gov for more information or updates as it relates to the mobilization efforts by FEMA to suppress wildfires, their suppression efforts. And there's also FEMA Hawaii wildfires. Those are the websites that you can visit to get more information about what's going on with the FEMA suppression efforts in Hawaii. And of course, if you want more updates on the on wildfires, you can go to www.nifc.gov fire dash information, the National Interagency Fire Center. Thank you for listening to another short episode of the Neoliberal Realm podcast, lifting up a very important news story. Coming up next on the Neoliberal Realm podcast is another important news story that we must get into. That is the issue of um, unemployment. The US labor market continues to flex its muscle as applications for jobless claims fell again last week and remain at healthy levels in the face of high interest rates and inflation. However, what is alarming is that while jobless claims fell, okay, over the last period, the jobless jobless job sorry US job openings continues to trend downward. US job openings, one, and two, the number of job openings to the there is still a significant disparity between the number of job openings, the number of jobs available, and the number of persons who are unemployed. We have about 5.96 million people who are unemployed in the US and 9.58 million job openings. Why okay, and I understand, and the feds are saying that part of the high inflation we had in the earlier year and last year was as a result of this of the high of the imbalances between um, demand and supply in terms of the availability of jobs and the number of people, the number of jobs filled. Okay, but that's still an issue, that's still a problem, and we're gonna get into that in the next in the next episode of the Neoliberal Realm podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie, and of course Dante Nelson is with me for another powerful and concise episode, lifting up some very important news articles or important news stories that is in the news. Thank you for listening. Visit us at theneoliberal.com or ronaldocmckenzie.com. Subscribe and share. And we are getting ready to release Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered. And we're going to be doing a number of shows talking about that. We also have another show that is sponsored by Statista looking at Gen Z, the power of Gen Z that's coming up. We also have a show coming up with an interview with the Assemblyman, Mr. Ruben De Silva over there in Nevada. And he has been advocating that teachers get a pay raise there in Clark County. We're going to be interviewing him shortly and talking about that particular story with the teachers in Clark County. We also have a follow up on Castro v. Trump, the Castro v. Trump series, part 5. That's supposed to be coming up. Hopefully we can get some word on that. We haven't gotten any word as yet, but soon we'll have an update and we'll do a new story on that. So those are some of the stories coming up. And again, as I said to you some time ago, we still haven't done the what's it like living in your city. We did what's it like living in what's it like living in Philadelphia. We will continue with some of that, but stay tuned and subscribe. Coming up next is and we'll be talking about the jobs market and the disparity in the economy as it relates to joblessness and the false negative that these reports provide. Thank you for listening.